Let's use the rules of exponents to simplify these different expressions. First, we have part A, base 3 raised to the 1/3 power times base 3 raised to the 5/3 power. Now, since we have multiplication with the same base, we can write a single base raised to the sum of the first plus the second exponent. Okay, so we're going to need to add the exponents together. They are 1/3 plus 5/3. Fortunately, they have a common denominator, so we can go ahead and do the addition across the top. This is 3 raised to the 1 plus 5 over the common denominator 3. So it's 3 raised to the 6 over 3, but 6 over 3 is 2. So it's 3 raised to the second power. That's 3 times 3, which is 9. For part B, we have base A raised to the 1/5 over base A raised to the 9/10. Okay, since we have the same base A on the top and bottom of this fraction, this is equal to a single common base A raised to the top exponent minus the bottom exponent. Okay, unfortunately, we have a problem here. We have to subtract the two fractions in the exponent, and they don't have a common denominator. So we're going to have to change the 1/5 to the form that has the 10 denominator. So we're going to multiply the top and the bottom of 1/5 by the same number, 2, because that's the number required to get the denominator to be the same, 10, as we have on the 9/10. Okay, so when we multiply the top and bottom of 1/5, we get base A raised to the 2 over 10 minus the 9 over 10. So it's base A raised to the negative 7 over 10. And we don't like negative exponents, so we flip it upside down and write it as 1 over A raised to the positive 7 over 10. You know you're not finished simplifying until all of your exponents are non-negative. Okay, part C, parenthesis, base 36 raised to the negative 1/4 power times base 9 raised to the 3/4 power, all raised to the negative 2 power. Okay, so in the parenthesis we're multiplying. And when you're multiplying, not adding and subtracting, but when you are multiplying inside of your parenthesis, you are allowed to distribute the exponent across the different two factors here. So that means that the negative 2 power will be applied to the first factor and to the second. So it's equal to parenthesis 36 raised to the negative 1/4 parenthesis raised to the negative 2 times 9 raised to the 3/4 raised to the negative 2. Okay, so let's simplify each of those. Well, when you have a power raised to a power, you multiply the exponents together. So this is base 36 raised to the negative 1/4 times negative 2 multiplied by 9 raised to the 3/4 times negative 2. Okay, so let's multiply these exponents. We get 36 raised to the 1 over 2 when we simplify times 9 raised to the negative 3 over 2. And if we write the 1/2 in radical form, the 36 to the 1 over 2 power is the second root, or in other words, the square root of the base 36. And then for the 9 raised to the negative 3/2 power, we'll simplify that by writing a parenthesis and writing base 9 raised to the 1 over denominator power raised to another power. So this is base 9 raised to the 1 over 2 power raised to the negative 3 power, because if you multiply that exponents together, you'll get negative 3/2 as we had to the left. Okay, so further simplification, the square root of 36 is 6. And for the second part, we're going to change the 9 to the 1/2 power to the 1/2 root, or the square root, the second root. And don't forget you're at the negative 3rd power on the outside. That's coming along. And so that's the same when we evaluate the square root of 9. It's 6 times base 3 raised to the parenthesis negative 3. And that's the same as 6 times 1 over 3 raised to the positive 3. We like positive exponents. And now we can simplify further by taking 3 to the 3rd power in the denominator. So we'll get 6 on the top, 27 on the bottom. And now we're just ready to factor and cancel our final fraction. So we can factor a 3 out of the top and bottom. And the 3 on the top, 3 times 2, will cancel with the 3 on the bottom. And our final answer will be 2 over 9.